Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. How are you all doing today on this scorcher? Blue skies out there, I can see it, even up in kind of miserable grey Rami usually. Nat is here with me, Natalie Pike. You'll obviously know from Manchester City's Matchday Live and BBC's Talking Balls. We just realised that you've not actually been on my channel before. That's right,
I know,
isn't
I
it?
can't believe it. That we've known each other for years. I've been
Yeah.
watching your channel for years. Yeah.
Do you know when something's like you see someone so often because we've done so many things together that you just sort
Yeah.
of presume that's happened and you forget, oh wait, it hasn't actually happened before. But finally, we fixed it.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I watch so many of your videos, like
Thank
every
you.
week.
A
I
little.
watch your previews and
Well, it was
what we've
literally like,
learned.
yeah, we're literally in the same spaces all the time anyway. But it's Nat's debut on the channel. Yay, lovely stuff. And this is what I want to do more of as well. I want to chat to you guys and more blues and so on the channel because I just, I'm on my own on this channel. So it's nice to chat to fellow blues and get all the talking points and so on. And Nat, you've been away, haven't you? You've been away with City on the tour as well. How did that go? Because you were over in the US tour. What was the vibe like? Was it all good?
Yeah, it was mega. Like, although I think it's full on ruined me because I was in Texas last week on a trip as well, where we did not fly private from a private airport, and where my bags were not taken to my room for me.
Oh,
Um,
really?
I went to Texas
Wait.
last week and had three changes, so it was fully back down to earth. But yeah, the tour was amazing. I was lucky enough. I was there. We flew on the same plane as the players, and we still stayed in the same hotel, and we were there
It's
for
not a
just
bad
over
life,
a
is it?
week. Oh, it was awesome. And do you know what? I got to spend a lot of time with people that I haven't met before. I haven't spent a lot of time with before. And the backroom staff at City are just phenomenal. Like I think people don't understand the work, and I didn't, the
Yeah.
work that goes into organizing a trip like that and organizing the kind of, from a City TV point of view, the coverage, the
It's
footage,
a
all of the.
huge crew, wasn't it? Massive. I saw the
Oh
photos
yeah,
of
it's
like you
massive.
guys. There's like 20 of you there,
Yeah.
weren't it? The backroom staff.
How good was the coverage, by the way? Did you love the all of the content, all of the videos that were
I
coming out?
bet
I
you loved
loved
it, didn't
it.
you? Sat there with like Bernardo and
Loved it.
everyone and stuff like that. And that was class. Like, as a City fan, the amount of like the lot of memes and all that kind of stuff and gold that came from it. Like it was, yeah, it felt like genuinely having. I know City kind of have a TV channel, but it felt like that, as in real, proper, beyond YouTube level coverage of all the players and stuff. Did you? You
Did
must
you
have
like
enjoyed
The Troy thing at the airport?
it.
Mate, I
Is
hadn't heard of him before, and I got off the bus because we got a bus from the CFA, and I got off the bus and I was like, "Who is this guy?"
oh,
Like,
was he there when you were there as well? Did he
yeah,
say anything to
I was
you?
like, I hadn't heard of him. We got on the plane, and everyone was like, "Who was that guy?" And we started watching the videos.
What did he say to you?
I can't remember nothing like hilarious. Sadly, I didn't make the edit. But then obviously I sat down with Jack Grealish to ask him about it a few days later, which was so much fun as well, where he kind of admitted he didn't know what symmetrical meant. Um, he
I
was
feel like there's a
so
lot of
he was
words that Jack doesn't
so
know, which is adorable. But like,
he took it so well. I thought, he's so good with the banter, and he's so good with the kind of laughing at himself. I thought he took it really well.
I like that about him, though, to be fair. He does seem like he knows he's not like the sharpest that way, but he seems just to revel in it and be like, it is what it is. And like,
Such a nice guy, by the way. I've never heard anybody behind the scenes say anything bad about him. Like, gets on with everybody, like dead
yeah,
chatty. He was like walking up and down the plane, like speaking to everybody, like just such a thoroughly nice guy.
yeah. My old Blue Horizon friend, who's a producer at City now as well, Paul Walsh. I'm not sure if you've met him before, but
Yeah.
yeah, but he said the same. See, he did a lot of filming on the first day he joined City. And he said he was like super friendly, like asking how. He said he's always a good time with because he's met a lot of footballers, but the ones who ask how you are and make time to chat to you and go how you doing, all that kind of stuff. And he said Grealish is very much like that, like a dead friendly guy and just dead patient and dead nice with everyone. Just wants to have a bit of a laugh, and he's obviously got a lot of charisma, hasn't he? Like he's got a bit of a
Oh
bubbly
yeah.
personality. And you were out there with them all. Must have been
I
good.
know, I know. It's
City,
amazing.
City fan.
Oh, do you know who else I found really nice was Erling Haaland? So I did the the player reveal event that they did at the stadium,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was phenomenal. By the way, there was like 10,000 Blues there to welcome him and
yeah, yeah.
Ortega. Phillips was poorly, and obviously welcome Alvarez as well. And we came off stage and we went backstage, and he said to me, "How was that?" And I was like,
Oh, really?
"Yeah, like it was brilliant. Like how was that for you?" He was kind of like obviously like thinking about it. Yeah.
Oh, bless him. He's another who just seems dead down to earth, doesn't he? And dead, like relative, just normal. Like normal. That's one thing I liked about him on the pitch as well. When you see him play, he seems to be. You get from a lot of players who are self confident. Sometimes a level of like they feel like they're their own man, so to speak. Like they're very individualistic, but you don't get that impression at all with
He's
Haaland,
so
do you?
young.
Like, you get the impression that he genuinely is hyped for everyone else around him, when they do well. Like, he's the first to run over and celebrate and so on. And I love that about Haaland. Like, he looks very much a team player. Like, there's certain other one goal a game strikers that we won't really mention who seem to be more annoyed when someone else scores, but like Haaland doesn't seem that at all, and that's like what was the vibe amongst the players? Because obviously you were there during the tour. Was the group seem happy? Yeah.
It just seems like they just really like each other, and obviously, like when you put a big group of people together in any walk of life, sure, there's going to be some people that you don't become best friends with, but the vibe just felt like they just really liked each other, and just have fun in each other's company. So it was great to see, like from a really up close and personal sort of point of view. But I'm loving it. I haven't watched them all, but I've been seeing clips, of the New Together documentary.
Yeah.
Did you see the clip yesterday that came out of Kyle Walker, like ripping Ruben Diaz?
I've not seen that, no, because when's the new one? It's next week, isn't it? Next Tuesday. Is it Monday or Tuesday? I think the next one comes out.
They put a clip out yesterday of Kyle Walker pinning up photos of Ruben Diaz all around the CFA after saying that he got beasted by Traore when we played Wolves. So funny. So funny. You need to have a look at it. But yeah, it just seems like they just like each other.
I mean, I know it sounds really obvious, but that kind of stuff does matter, doesn't it? And you can tell why City. I was chatting to Nadim about the whole, like it's quite well publicised how City do the whole, happy faces and how they want everyone who wants to be there to be there. But I guess that's why, isn't it? Like if they're all happy and they're content and they've got a relatively tight knit group, it does help you, doesn't it? Of course it does. Imagine like working with a bunch of people you don't get on with. You try and leave, don't you? In general, and like these are all friends as well. And like. It's good. It's really positive. I mean, and you can tell. What did you make at the start of the season then? Like, what was your overall verdict of the West Ham game?
So I watched the West Ham game on my laptop in Texas, and I've got to give a shout out. Do you know what? It's the first time I've missed a City game because I was lucky enough. I was, at the games during lockdown. Yeah. And if I'm not at a game, I'm in the studio covering the game. Yeah, this is the first City game I've not been at or watched in 5 years, maybe something like that. But I watched it on my laptop in Texas, and I've got to give a shout out to the American Blues because it was on a pay-per-view channel in America. I tried to join the channel, but you had to have an American address, an American password, and everything. So God bless, I put it on Twitter, and the American Blues. Shout out to Crunk, who sorted me out with a password so that I could watch it. But yeah, I mean, I have to admit, after the Community Shield game, I wasn't nervous, but I thought we were phenomenal in the Bayern Munich. Well, the Bayern Munich game was a bit, with the Lightning and stuff, and the Club America game, considering we had two.
That weather, by the way, when you were there, was the weather mental?
Oh, mate, it was absolutely insane. So it was like so hot, like humidity and like stifling. When you've been on holiday and you can tell it's going to rain at some point, but you didn't expect it to be like to rain the way that it rained. It was beautiful. You're on the lightnings, like lighting up all the sky. It was beautiful, but yeah, it was insane. Like it was like game off, everybody inside. Like
edge of the world
it was
stuff.
Nuts. Yeah, it was nuts. But then when the rain cleared, it was beautiful. But yeah, I thought we played really well in those games because we only had 2 pre-season friendlies. So we went into the Community Shield, and I did expect us to win, but I wasn't worried because I do treat it as a friendly. Like I really do think the Community Shield is just a friendly. I'm not saying I don't want to win it. I want to win every game that we play. But then I went into the West Ham game probably not absolutely knowing, 3 pre-season friendlies, beaten in the Community Shield, not really knowing what to expect. And obviously Liverpool drawing with Fulham the day before. But I was just impressed, just really impressed. I just loved it. It was great, wasn't it?
It was reassuring. That's the way I felt it was, because obviously I felt the same as you. I was a little bit apprehensive, in terms of going into that game, mainly because it's West Ham away, and obviously last season, they got 2 goals against us. It was 2-0 at half time, and I think that's when we were going for the title. And then we pulled it back, and that point obviously was huge at the end. But they are such a good team, aren't they? That I was a little bit fearful, and then obviously we saw that it just felt. If I was watching as Liverpool or whatever, or Chelsea, I would have been really nervous about the performance, because that was that early on, and like Haaland, I mean, the quality, he must have impressed.
Imagine being one of those people that wrote him off after the Community Shield. Like, honestly, what's wrong with these people? 1 friendly game, and obviously, I feel like he's the type of person that thrives off that, and just wanted to come out and immediately show everybody. But yeah, he's finishing. His strength. He you know, in the Bayern Munich game where he got his first goal,
Yeah.
it was that kind of moment where you were like, how many crosses like this did we put in last season?
The amount of crosses, the amount that we wasted.
Right? So yeah, I loved it. And then I loved his celebration when he sat down, you know, and the personality that he's got. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, he's got so much character. I mean, I think there was a genuine like aura about him, you know, at the weekend against West Ham. I mean, it's quite frightening that he's not even up to speed yet. But that running behind, particularly that KDB pass, it's a wonderful vision of the future, isn't it? Because that I feel like.
Like the KDB pass was phenomenal, but the whole build-up, you know, coming from Edison and Grealish being involved, and was it Rodri that was involved as well? And it was the whole build-up. It was like absolute, like what Pep would write, you know, on a board. This is what we're going to do, and we did it.
Did you see the quotes from Mikel Antonio about the West Ham forward? He said their system is liquid. It's liquid. It can't be contained. When I say to you, it's that they're rotating everywhere. Cancelo's popping in midfield. Kyle Walker's playing midfield. Jack Grealish would be out wide. So then Bernardo would be inside. So the fullbacks can't come mark and get tight. It's a masterclass. Just one of those things where you've got to put your hands up and say they're unbelievable. And this is like Mikel Antonio. Obviously, he's a very eloquent guy, and I think that says it all. Like, I was tweeting this morning about how City, you know, like they just don't get the credit they deserve for the quality of the football, because you can't just replicate that, can you? With money, you can't just replicate that with any players. That is just, it's very exciting. It's really exciting. I mean, to me, it's set my expectations for this season pretty high. What about yourself?
Really?
Are you is it one of those things where I'm jinxing it?
Excuse me. What's your expectation level then? What are you? What are you thinking?
Look. I'm not going to say. Look, I replied to Jolien yesterday on Twitter. Again, he thinks City could win the Champions League this year, Jolien, and he was on BT Sport with Joe Cole and Owen Hargreaves saying they all think Haaland's the difference this year, and I think it could be the year as well. I think it could be the year that happens, that we win the Champions League. I do think he's that much of a difference, though. I think you need someone like him to win the competition like that. You think of the great teams, the great ones. Obviously, there's exceptions, but they do have someone who just wins a game in a moment of brilliance, don't they? And like, I'd love some of our former players who've left now, but I can't see them scoring that second goal against West Ham. I just can't. And like, look, has it changed? Has that first game changed your expectations, or are you still roughly the same, whatever they are?
I think my expectations are roughly the same. You know, in knowing how good we are and knowing how well our business was in the summer. I think my expectations are still the same. I don't know. The Champions League is such a weird one these days for me, because it feels like part of me just wants to win it so that people can stop saying that we haven't. Like, and that is not a good reason to want to win something.
It feels more about that now, doesn't it, than actually wanting to win it? It's crazy, but I'm exactly with you. I care more. But I think we ultimately know that it's not going to stop. You know, like people will carry on saying something. They'll go, "Oh, it's because you spent loads of money and you've only won it once." But
yeah, that's what they'll say next. You haven't done a treble. Like, there'll always be something we haven't done.
Do you know what my biggest motivation for wanting to win it is? Actually, obviously, I want City to win it full stop, but it's probably for KDB. I just want to cement his own legacy. You know, I honestly feel like if he wins it, KDB, for many people, and probably me included, he'll go down as our greatest ever, potentially. And imagine he wins that many Premier Leagues, and how long has he been here for? 2015, right? So he'll be here for next.
He's the last, isn't he?
Yeah, he'll push 10 years, I reckon, at City. He'll push 10 years, and then imagine if he wins the Champions League and about 5 or 6 Premier League titles.
What a nice guy he is as well. I mean, you met him you told me your story about when you met him on the pitch and he was telling you about his kids.
Yeah, he was adorable.
Such a nice man.
He was. Have you chatted to him quite a bit then? Or?
I've spent a bit of time with him on the tour, and he's just normal, freakishly normal, to the point where you forget you're talking to Kevin De Bruyne.
I heard exactly the same thing.
So normal.
Like, he's one of those guys where if he wasn't a footballer, he'd just be that guy that you work with and he'd be dead normal. And you'd be just a nice guy. And I think he's very dry as well, isn't he, apparently? Well, he was dry to me. He made it straight away. He made a joke about, if people don't know that, I went out to him like a fanboy on the pitch after we won the league. And I was like, Kev, can I get a photo? And I realised he had his little lad with him. And I went, oh, don't worry about it. And he went, no. He's like, oh, no, he's all cool. And I went, you sure? And then I said, "Oh, I've got my first on the way in October," which I have. And he did the whole, "Oh, you'll never sleep again" kind of thing. And we had a chat about parenthood with Kevin De Bruyne. And I was like, "I love it. I absolutely love it." And then I made a joke about him looking tired in the first half, which I couldn't believe I did that. But he said, to be fair, that his lad got him up at 5 a.m. that day on the game day.
Yeah.
So, and he took it well because he's obviously got a sense of humour. But that's the thing
Plays
as well.
that well after getting up at 5. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Our legends, he seems like a great guy, and that really helps, doesn't it? Like I'm not. That's definitely not throwing shade at anyone. But like once again, a wonderful guy. I wonder how good his kids are as well. I bet they'll be City fans one day in the future. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Game of City. How are you feeling about because I put the title of this video about City squad depth, because obviously there's a lot of talk at the moment going on about we've moved on a lot of experience. Fernandinho's moved on, Sterling, Jesus, Zinchenko, and we haven't replaced Zinchenko in particular. Where do you stand on the City squad depth balance and so on? Is it something that you're concerned about, or are you relatively relaxed?
So I think we had a phenomenal transfer window. I think that we have a phenomenal senior leadership team that have a long-term plan that you can see that with Haaland. We've got a long-term plan. We know what we're doing. I also fully buy into and endorse the idea that if a player isn't happy, you've got to let them leave. I mean, I loved Raheem Sterling. I was a massive Raheem Sterling fan. I mean, I don't think he had the credit, for how good he was. When you look at statistically, and you think about some of the goals that he scored, I think people too often think about the goals that he didn't score, whereas I'm much more of a glass half full person. So I loved him. I loved Gabby Jesus. Whenever he was called upon, he was phenomenal. And obviously, in terms of those two, it feels like they wanted to leave. They wanted to be the big man at a club, which obviously it looks like Gabby Jesus is going to smash it at Arsenal.
Yeah,
I'm sure
he will,
except when he plays us, obviously.
Yeah, how dare he?
Zinchenko, in terms of Zinchenko, God, could we love a man more, for the person that he is, for the personality. But again, if he wants, I fully respect the idea that he wants to go and play regular football. So loved them, but also, I'm absolutely fine with the fact that they left. And if they weren't happy, you want a happy squad. The people that we've bought, made up with Haaland, made up with Julian Alvarez, he looks good, doesn't he? Like he's just going to be like a revelation, a secret surprise that pops up while everybody's looking at Haaland. I think that Ortega looks great in terms of... He
looks really good, doesn't he?
Right? Okay.
Ederson was good in that first game, and I think I had a guy on my channel who's a goalkeeping expert. He does analysis, and I did a good old chat to him. And it was fascinating actually. In his outlying stats showed that while Ederson remains above average goalkeeper, he did drop a little bit last season compared to his previous levels. I honestly think Ortega could really push Ederson, and I thought he was great in the first game against West Ham as well. And I think that's a really probably underrated signing, because it could not only improve the squad but also raise Ederson's, push Ederson a little bit, because people can get comfortable, after a while. And Ortega, he looks good, doesn't he? Did you meet him on the tour? He seemed friendly.
Yeah, I did.
You did, didn't you?
Did his the review as well.
Yeah.
And again, it seems like a nice, normal guy. And I think he looks really good. And again, Zach Stefan, fine. You want to go because you want to play first team football, because
absolutely.
You want to play for your country. That's fine. We totally get it. But he looks like an incredible backup goalkeeper. And in terms of Calvin Phillips, what an absolute steal he is. I'm still looking forward to seeing where he's going to fit in, how often he's going to play, because for me, Rodri is pretty much the first name on the team sheet for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think anything works without him. So I'm interested to see where Calvin Phillips is going to fit in. In terms of depth, I don't think we have a lot of depth. I think our squad is much smaller than anyone gives us credit for. I think Josh Wilson-Esbrand had a great pre-season as well. Is he at the level where he can play, where he could cover for the entire season?
It's risky, isn't it? Yeah, because that's what you really want, ideally. You want someone that know if Cancelo wasn't there, that you wouldn't have to put Ake at left back, and then you wouldn't be centre back down.
I love Nathan Ake, by the way. I'm a full Nathan Ake.
Oh, yeah, great. Nathan Ake, baby, man. I think he looks great as well at the start of the season. He was great against West Ham, and every time Antonio, the ball went towards him, he just didn't get a touch. Like he's really settled, hasn't he? I see, really settled.
Where do you stand on the kind of idea that if he keeps playing well, he's done nothing wrong? You know, when Laporte comes back, when Stones is, you know, or is Stones already fully fit? Like, where do you stand? Would you keep him in the side?
Look, I mean, I'm not going to get too into the politics side of it, but ultimately, it looks like Stones couldn't travel for his own choice, if that makes sense. You know, like, and he wasn't out there in first team training because he made a choice, essentially. You know, and like it's so. As a result of that, Ake was travelling with Guardiola, and Ake's played really well in pre-season, and he played excellent there. You know, like he deserves that shirt right now, and I love John Stones. I think he's a phenomenal footballer. But right now, like he deserves that. You know, he was around present in training. Like he deserves the first team shirt until he doesn't. And look, I think he's incredibly underrated. You know, I really do. I think he's a fantastic footballer. And to be honest, I think we might have missed him a lot more if he'd gone to Chelsea than we realised because he's also different as well. You know, he's different to the other options. And I think we just presume, you know, you can just replace a centre back with another and it'll be fine. But I think Ake's very different to Stones. He's different to Diaz. He's different to Laporte. Like he has his own traits to his game, and I actually really like how all four of them are slightly different footballers. You know, like I think Stones is probably the best at progressing, you know, running out with the ball. Like Diaz is by far the biggest, you know, warrior and so on in terms of like he's the most natural leader. Laporte's probably the best passer, but Ake is like this mixture of them all, isn't he? Where he's ultra combative.
He's not
like,
the best at any of the things.
He's probably not the actual. He's probably the least competent passer, but his reading of the game and like his determination is phenomenal. I mean, like it's such a solid partnership. What I love about Ake and Diaz is it feels like it could be a partnership in the 90s as well. If you know what I mean? Like it's a proper old school physical, but it also works now because obviously they can pass it around and like as we all know, he's meant to be fucking lovely, isn't he? Like the loveliest of guys.
Nathan Ake,
yeah,
one of the nicest people I've ever met. Yeah,
and he's
one of those people that goes out of his way to say hi to you, you know, like, and how are you? And you feel like he actually cares about what you say.
It's so mad, isn't it, that how that is something that we take for granted, but it's I think we forget sometimes that footballers, they get when you're that famous, you get everyone in the world stop to talk to you, don't you? So it's very easy to get into trivial, and then just kind of crack on because you got so much time and so many people. But like the ones that actually stop and ask how you are and all that kind of stuff. And Ake seems to be, we've got a few at City, and that's genuinely rare, you know. And like, it makes a difference, doesn't it, having people of his stature.
I had a really nice chat with Rodri as well when I was on tour. Like a really nice, long chat about me, about career, about him, about why he's not on social media, about
what did he say?
We ended up talking about feminism, like, you know,
really?
He's really clever, yeah. We had a good old chat about feminism, and during the people were constantly coming up having pictures, and never once did it seem like it was a problem. Like, you know, and just really nice. I really enjoyed being there and getting a real sort of inside, you know, and thinking, you know, sometimes they say don't meet your heroes. Well,
yeah.
No, you're cool, Blues, meet them.
Oh yeah, no, I've met a few of them as well, like you, and only briefly, but super friendly, super nice, and knowing like how that possibly is going to be my favourite footballer of all time is, you know, Kevin De Bruyne, and knowing that he's actually fucking ace and a really nice guy, and everyone meets him thinks he's like the ultimately normal bloke. That's just such a nice feeling, you know. That's such a nice feeling because when you're that good, you can easily be aloof and distant and whatever. And once again, Rodri's on his way to
taking pictures. I didn't see any they weren't sick of it, or if they were, they weren't showing it.
You think about David Silva, Vinny, Sergio, the KDB, Ferner, people like Zabba, and you're like, they're great, and they're also great people as well. Like Rodri, I saw that video of Rodri with him and his missus when they're playing golf or something. And she seems super smart as well. Like she was like winding him up stuff.
Yeah. And normal again.
Normal, down to earth.
Normal, yeah.
Like people go on sometimes there's this thing where people say about Pep how he doesn't sign people who challenge him. You know, and I think they equate challenging with ego, and it's not the same, isn't it? Like I think people can challenge Pep, but you look at people who've who've fallen out with Pep. It's people like Zlatan and so on, who are known to be relatively egotists, you know, and we talk about a lack of leaders, but I think they're just not your typical aggressive leader, are they, at City? They're more...
I think we've got so many leaders at City. I think half the team are leaders, you know, more.
I absolutely agree, and I think that's the perception. I think it's because people look at old school leaders like, you know, your old school Roy Keane captains. Yeah, but that's not how City lead. They lead with responsibility, don't they? I don't think you can be as good as City are without a bunch of leaders, you know, because that balance, it requires professionalism, doesn't it? It requires that focus and that determination. And we've obviously got it in abundance. Rodri, obviously, like, look, yeah, he was immense against West Ham as well. He looks like he's gone up another level, another, like.
He really does. Yeah.
What was the general vibe around him during pre-season as well? I mean, I've got a theory that he's going to become a captain one day. Did you get that sense?
Yeah, definitely. Gundogan, Diaz, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, if any of them were captain, you wouldn't question it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how they decide between themselves. But yeah, for me, Rodri, unsung player, perhaps should have been player of the season, not just for us, but, for the big awards. But the fact that he wasn't probably represents even better how good he is, because he goes under the radar, because he's, he does that role that perhaps isn't glitzy and big. But having said that, obviously he pops up with some really important moments. I mean, the Arsenal goal was one of my favourite moments of the entire season.
Yeah, well, he ruffled their feathers massively. Like, there's clips going around apparently from their All or Nothing thing about how Arsenal. I can't remember the exact context, but it's apparently how they want revenge against us. Like, we don't care about Arsenal that much. They care about us a lot more than we care about them. They're like, revenge against us. Like, we don't even really. They're not in the same conversation. They might be this season, but they are definitely not our rivals. And they weren't last season either. That moment though, it's maddening how a moment like that can make someone's essentially like legacy at a club. Like, obviously there's a lot more to his game than that, but that was a big moment last season, wasn't it? I think that was an influential moment in the season.
Yeah, definitely. It was the first. What was it? January the 1st. It was the first day of the year, and I mean, how many what it came down to the end of the season. So God, yeah, it was huge, and it was that moment where we showed that kind of level of fight where, for once perhaps we weren't the best team that day, but we still won.
Bunch of leaders in the team once again. It's down to that spirit, and that's the thing, is like we underestimate sometimes the value of that experience and that knowledge and that kind of determination. What was Pep like in pre-season? Did you see any of the training or anything like that?
Well, we did 2 open training sessions, and we did a live show from pitch side. I was with Jolien and Zaba, and the live training was going on behind us, and that was fascinating because I was able to kind of ask Jolien and Zaba, what are they doing? Like, what is happening? What is the benefit of this? What is the point of this?
Yeah.
One of the things that I enjoyed the most was they play this game where they're in a circle and there's 2 of them in the middle or 3 of them in the middle, and they've got to intercept the ball. It's one pass and they've got to pass it. The people in the circle have got to keep passing it, and the 3 in the middle have got So seeing that from a meter away, like standing there like with them a meter away watching that, was unbelievable. The level of skill that they have, and also what I really liked was the competition level. So at one point they're two-footing each other trying to get just in an open training. That the competition level was insane, but also just seeing up close and personal the level of skill that these players have was just insane. But Pep seemed in good spirits. I didn't personally interview him or have any kind of one-on-one time with him. We did do an interview with him, but Rob Pollard did it. But when I did see him, he would smile at me, he would wave at me. He saw me in the corridor with the new away shirt on, and he said to me, "Oh, you want to play right back?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem."
Well, it's left back we need, Pep. But even then, he's like, you get a left back, Pep. It's that simple, man. He refuses to.
Right?
Yeah, bloody
hell, a joke. It's a right back.
even then, he's getting you a right back. I played left back before. Do you know what? This is a true story. I played left back for a Sunday League team as a right footer when I was about 19. So that's best part of 2 decades ago. And I scored a brace from left back. So there we go. I was doing the inverted. Look, all I'm saying is I was doing the Cancelo before it was a thing. I was literally playing as an inverted fullback, which is mad thinking about it now. That was like 2005 or something like that, and I was playing in
your Sunday League manager preempted Pep.
Exactly, yeah. I think it was one of those things where they had 11 players, and I was seen as the one who just joined, so I was seen as the weak link. So I put him at left back, scored a brace, essentially because I didn't defend, but I was just ahead of the game.
Who needs to defend? You don't need to defend these days.
Well, we won the game 3-2, so I remember that, and they put me up front after that. So absolutely getting the flex in. A couple of super chats, by the way, on the live video. Scott Denemy saying, "Good morning, hope you're having a good day." We're good, Scott, mate. Can't wait for the match this weekend. 4-0 City is my guess. Come on. What's your predictions for the weekend? You
Can
confident?
you believe we're playing at 3:00 on a Saturday?
It's weird. It's absolutely weird. It's
insane. I'm so happy.
30 degrees heat as well. Are you working at the weekend?
Yeah, I'm working City Square at the weekend.
Sunscreen. Get your sunscreen.
Yeah, I just got an email as well saying because it's the first game of the season, we've got to be there extra early. So think of me at 10 o'clock in the morning when I'm already there. I am looking forward to it. Clearly, the weather, the first home game of the season, 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Playing Bournemouth. I love to play. A newish team, for one of those. I love it. I think there's a good chance that we could absolutely batter them. I don't mean that. I hope that doesn't come out disrespectfully.
No, we're all thinking it. We just don't want to say it because I saw a tweet earlier from a guy called Stefan, who I think I follow, and he said that the odds of Bournemouth, apparently it's the longest odds he's ever seen in Premier League game, 45-1 for Bournemouth to beat us. I am not a gambler at all, but 45-1 is stupid. That's the whole world essentially is expecting City to spank Bournemouth, and I don't know if they will do, but that's what I'm hoping for. In my head, I've got this glorious 5-6-0 and Haaland getting a hat trick, and then, please.
I suppose the only thing is, obviously, you saw what Fulham did at Liverpool. The newly promoted teams, obviously full of confidence. Playing teams like us, it is essentially a free hit for them. So, I'm not expecting them to come and roll over, but it might be a tough first 30 minutes, and then we break them. Or we exhaust them, which is what we quite often do. But I'm fully expecting it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm hoping like a newly promoted team, like the runs and the physicality of Haaland. We forget it's not just everyone else's ability, but his movement is of the highest level as well, isn't it? You can be as good as you want at Championship and as good a defender, but the movement that they would have experienced in Championship compared to what they're about to get from Haaland, it's like even most Premier League teams can't handle it. West Ham couldn't handle it, so I'm hoping. Oh, Mo as well. I know, I can't wait. It's super chat as well. Mo saying, "Hello, Natalie. You're equally as nice in person. As nice in person. Like, did you Mo was? I don't know. It was someone being very nice to you there. Anyway,
thanks so much.
Mo's a good lad. Mo's always dead nice in these chats. But yeah, I'm feeling confident for the weekend. Do you want to see any changes for the team, or are you just pretty much happy as it was?
No, I'm good with that. I'm good with how it was. I mean, I really like Riyad Mahrez. I'm a big Riyad Mahrez fan. Have a lot of followers from Algeria. They're very loyal, very loyal.
Yeah.
I really like Riyad Mahrez.
Tell me about
it. Champions League Mahrez. How many times did he step up in the Champions League this season? But no, there's no reason to change that team for me. And I think, Jack Grealish was great at the weekend as well. We talked about him on Talking Balls the other day, and some people were still phoning up, City fans still phoning up saying, no, I don't think he was very good.
No, I agree, absolutely. I don't know what everyone was. I feel like sometimes I watch a different game to some people because
me too.
He did everything that he was meant to be doing, I think people want him to just run at people constantly.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's no City winger is ever going to do that because they're not meant to do that. And someone's already saying in the comments, Grealish was crap. I'm like, mate, I just don't see that. I just don't see that. I thought he was absolutely. He created chances. He was good. He was involved. Look what Mikel Antonio said again of West Ham. He said he was out there and he was doing this, and the collective movement wore down one of the best defensive teams in the league. And look, it's ultimately a team thing, isn't it? If he's part of the machine and it's working, we'll know because Guardiola will take him off if it isn't working. You can tell ultimately Pep was happy with what was going on the pitch, and I thought he was good, and I think he's essential to on that day to how the system was working. I want to see him start the weekend. Foden on the right, by the way, as well. Are you a fan of that?
I am, I do like him down the middle, but I am a fan of him out there. And I did really like the setup. I mean, obviously, I think, well, do you know what? I'd love your opinion on it because I know how much you love Bernardo Silva as much as I do. I love Bernardo Silva. I hope we see him playing at the weekend. I'm also darn sick of hearing about these transfer rumours, and I just want somebody to just stop them. Can we just either put them to
the calendar will soon, hopefully. We've got what,
move on,
2 weeks left. 2 weeks left of it. I don't know. I am terrified of the idea of Bernardo going. Do you know what? I think. Look, I don't think it's this is not. I know we've both done stuff with the club and whatever, but this is no insider stuff. It's just pretty obvious that everyone knows. Pep's alluded to it. Bernardo's alluded to it. We all know he's sort of. If he wants to go, it's just because he wants to live somewhere else, and that's fine. He's a human being, and I respect that. And if he does go, fair enough. But the only thing I feel as a City fan is it's just got to be sooner rather than later. We can't be dealing with this in 2 weeks from now because, look, he's too important to the squad. And I've accepted the idea in going, but only if it's on Man City's terms.
We are going to wait, though, aren't we? We are going to have to wait because Barcelona are in such a mess. Did you see? I read this morning somewhere that 2 of the players that they signed in the summer, if they're not registered by Saturday when the league starts, they can just walk.
Kessie and Christiansen, that's
you can just walk.
That's an AC Milan signing and a Chelsea signing, and just imagine them just going on a free already that early. It's mental. It's absolutely
Gerard
mental.
Piqué is apparently offering to play for free to try and solve the problems.
I wouldn't even play for Man City for free, and I
Right?
yes,
Well, you might do.
well,
You're
I
already
would for a bit, eventually,
yeah.
I'd be like, come on, he's Gerard Piqué, I guess he's earned enough money to be fair, but I get it, but like it's kind of reeks of desperation. Like pay your players that you've got first, like if you're trying to sign, if Piqué's playing for free, like surely just pay him instead of signing Bernardo Silva. It just seems common sense to me, and like keep the ones that you've got happy, because it feels like an absolute masterclass of how to sow discontent and frustration within a squad. So imagine you telling me Bernardo Silva comes in, he's going to be on any less than 200 grand a week. Of course he isn't. So they're going to pay him his full wages, but then not play Piqué. Like I would be like, I know Piqué's a leader, but eventually they'd be like, can I get paid now? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you mind?
Like, what point? Because like, at what point? Like, it's like when you realize if you work somewhere before, and I've heard this before, when you realize all of a sudden that your colleagues on vastly more for you than for doing the same job. Eventually, you're like, oh, okay, and you can deal with it for a little bit, but eventually that frustration will kick in because they're only human beings. I know they're all multimillionaires, but they are still human beings doing their job, and like. They feel like, in that saying about just kicking a can down the road, like that's all Barcelona are doing, it feels like. And like Bernardo,
Feels nuts.
I don't know. Do you think he'll go or stay?
I don't know. I really, really hope he stays. But at the same time, I hope he stays and becomes happy here, like in whatever the issue is. Like, because you don't want anyone to be unhappy. But I mean, he's such a big part of the squad, isn't he? He's such a big part of the mentality, and everybody likes him. And I think he'd be a big miss if he went. And also, it would mean then I would probably start getting worried. Oh, we are looking really quite light and thin now.
It's too thin after that, I reckon. Absolutely. Yeah. I do trust the squad and the management and so on, but it's just too small. Yeah, we will get injuries and we will get suspensions and players will get tired at the World Cup and stuff. And we can't just have, I mean, looking at the bench, we already had 3 academy lads on it the other day, and like that's only with the port out. And then look, I know the money will be good, but I don't know. I feel like with Barca in this situation, we should be saying every week that it passes, the money should be going up just because. It's
they haven't got any. Where are they getting the money from?
These economic levers that apparently they're activating, whatever that means. Like, I don't know.
But they're happy to point the finger at us, aren't they? La Liga president's happy to point the finger at us.
He's setting the rules for them over there as well. That's the thing. Like, they've got like a sort of financial fair play of their own over there or something like that. And like, all right, if you're that bothered, just change your rules. It's like, I don't know. It's a little bit. I would like to if McAtee stayed, but Bernardo going. I don't know. I think he'll stay for what it's worth. I don't think they'll get it done.
I hope he does. But it does feel like we'll be sitting refreshing or watching Sky Sports News on the 31st, right up until the deadline.
No, I know.
Which I never liked.
Like if he goes at the end and we don't bring in a replacement, a lot of my confidence will disappear. It really would. Obviously, it's still City, but we'd still be great. But we'd have to get very lucky, I feel, with no injuries. Like really lucky for
yes, we would.
And that's not really something that happens to us. Someone is going to get injured, unfortunately, and I hope it won't be him. Nat, I'm probably going to call it there, but thank you very much. And I can't believe the doctor didn't ring during this. It's a miracle.
I know. I wait for the doctors to call, and yeah. And also, I need to go out because I got back the other day and my bag was so heavy that I had to throw all my toiletries away at the airport, and I left my straighteners in Texas. So I'm a bit disheveled today, Stephen.
Someone's loving it out there, though. Someone's got perfectly straight.
I know. Someone's got my GHDs in Texas.
In the humidity of Texas, yeah. Whereabouts in Texas was it again you went to? Sorry.
I went to Texas. I went to a place called McAllen, which is on the border, literally on the Mexican border. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Did you get any of the Tex-Mex stuff? Oh, you're vegan, or are you veggie, or
I am veggie, essentially. Like, great. I love Texas twice. They hate me. They hate vegetarians. They hate us. They do not know what to do with us. There was no vegetarian option. Well, there was. The only vegetarian option in the restaurant in our hotel was a cheese tortilla.
A cheese tortilla.
And I don't eat cheese, so yeah.
Oh well, that's it sucks to be you out there, unfortunately. Yeah, it does. No, because I had Tex-Mex breakfast when I was out there, and it was the best thing I've ever had. It was amazing.
I'm not complaining though. I don't want anyone to think I'm not
complaining. Rancheras and all that, phenomenal.
Yeah, I ate chips all week and cake.
There's worse. Now, thanks very much for coming on. I'm sure we'll chat very soon. I'm sure I'll see you soon as well for the City stuff, guys. Thank you for watching this, of course. What days is the Talking Ball showing again on BBC Manchester?
So Talking Balls is Monday to Friday, 6 till 7. But this season, I'm just doing Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays because my 4-year-old starts school in September.
Oh, bless!
So
they grow up so quick,
God
don't
bless
they?
the BBC who have been so kind and let me drop a Wednesday and a Thursday so that I can pick him up. And then also you can see me Matchday Live. I do all the away games for Matchday Live, and then City Square at the stadium.
Wonderful, and I'm sure everyone will be seeing you there very, very soon. Nat, you're an absolute superstar, and I'll catch you very,
Cheers,
very
mate.
soon. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give the big up video a like and subscribe and all the usual stuff, and I'll catch you very soon for another video. And go check out the chat I did with Nadem Manu a couple of days ago. That was fascinating as well. Thank you very much. Cheers for watching, and I'll catch you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.